Hello and welcome. Exactly a month ago, actor, filmmaker and now controversial anchor Aamir Khan promised us that he would be back to talk to us after we had seen his TV debut. Basically, to react to all the reactions that were bound to come in. And boy, have they come in, thick and fast. How is the actor processing all this? Has he bitten off more than he can chew? And what has this excursion on TV really taught him about our society, the art of communication, and himself? For a heart-to-heart, please welcome back on Beautiful People, Aamir Khan.
Thank you.
Ready for this heart-to-heart?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah, because you've been doing it with everybody else now, isn't it? So back on the other side.
Nice to be on the hot seat.
Nice to be on the hot seat. So Aamir, we are midway through your series, okay? I have described this to you, and subsequently every time I've talked about your show, as Satyameva Jayate is about the audacity of Aamir Khan's ambition and also of his hope. Okay, so full marks to you for deciding that you have a choice to do something. This is what you choose to do. So full marks. So now let's talk about the content. There are a lot of reactions that have come into your reactions. Okay, so you tear up and you have these very startled and shocked expressions and all of that. And the reactions almost seem to say that why is Aamir overplaying it? Is Aamir acting? Why it's not a live show? So he knows about this. His research team has given him this material. What do you have to say to this?
Well, you see, the thing is that this is my natural reaction. I'm not acting. The fact of the matter is that when I go through documentation, you have to understand that this documentation has been done 2 years ago. And this research has been happening for the last 2 years. We finished the bulk of the research 1 year back. So I have seen testimonies and interviews of people for 13 episodes. And for each episode, I must have seen interviews of 40, 50 people. Now, when I'm speaking to a guest who's with me on the show, that is the first time I am speaking to that person about that topic. I meet that person one day in advance, just to say hi, hello, and to introduce myself. But we don't speak about what we're going to talk about. So on the day of the show is when I have the conversation. Now, if you look at survivors, people who've been through difficult times, Rizwan's mother can tell me her story 10 times, and each time I'll cry. Because it's an extremely moving story.
Told with such great
dignity.
stoic dignity, isn't it?
I mean, she's such an amazing woman. She's got so much dignity and poise about her, and she's so gentle that she really amazes me. Or Harish's story, or who was a survivor of child sexual abuse. So, do I know his story? Yes, I know his story, but I'm hearing it from him for the first time. And when I'm sitting this close from him, and he's telling me his story, it is bound to move me. I mean, I don't know who it would not move. When a person is telling me his or her own experience firsthand in this manner, it affects me. That's the kind of person I am. I'm not acting. This is how I am. In fact, on a number of occasions, I have, broken down to an extent where we had to stop shooting. I had to collect myself. It took me like 5, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I go up to my makeup room, wash my face, come back, and then I continue the conversation where we've stopped. That's also happened. But of course, that is edited out because we can't have me crying on camera for 15 minutes saying nothing. So we've actually reduced it to the best of our abilities. As far as the experts are concerned, often they have said things which have surprised me, because they have said some amount of things which I've been through the testimony of. But when they speak in front of me, they often come up with sentences that they have not said earlier in the testimony, and that shocks me. So my responses are absolutely unchecked, unrehearsed, and that's what my reaction is.
That's your spontaneous, natural reaction. I mean, I have a theory here, and that is you are an actor who's used to the big screen. Not the actor part is not important here. It's the big screen that's important here. And we are now, and your show Satyameva Jayate is on the small screen, which really catches everything really, it's in your face, in your bedroom, living room, whatever it is. Do you think that this transition from the big to the small screen requires you to understand your relationship with the camera differently?
No, I don't think. In a show like this, I have to be myself. I I can't plan to be any other way. I can't train myself to be any other way. And I don't want to. This is how I am, and I don't know if everyone feels that way. I hope not. If a few people feel that I'm acting, then I'm afraid that I'm not. What else can I say?
The other question and criticism that has come in on the show is that while everybody has great appreciation for the topics that you've selected and the issues, therefore, that are getting your star power and coming up to the foreground, is the fact that in this, the fact that it's a TV show at the end of the day, manages to take, sort of take away nuances. Details. I know you've worked very hard to bring layers into issues, and yet it might take away details, okay? I'm going to read something to you that Farah Naqvi, who's a gender and, minority rights activist, she's also a member of the National Advisory Council. She wrote this in The Hindu, and I think you'll find this interesting. She was reacting to the female feticide issue. She said, the language, female feticide, killing of girls, murder in the womb, dents not the practice of sex selection, but women's reproductive rights by stigmatizing all abortion. After all, the very act of abortion is a feticide. Even as we, she goes on to say a lot more, and how women have the right.
I don't agree with her. But let
she
me
goes
hear
on
what
to
she
say,
says. Yeah.
even as we seek to urgently end sex-selective abortions, we should, that's what she's saying, we need to simultaneously ensure that we do not create an environment that compromises our commitment to expanding safe, legal abortion services for all women. Populist rhetoric does not generate nuanced solutions.
Yeah, so I don't agree with her. I'll tell you why. Because first of all, when she does a program, she should definitely do what she's saying. She must do all that she's saying. I am not communicating to one person.
Yeah, this is the challenge of communication.
And I'm very clear because this is where my capabilities lie. For 25 years, I've been indulging in mass communication. And I understand that when I am communicating to 1.2 billion people, hopefully, the more nuanced I get, the less the people are going to understand what I'm trying to say. So I am trying to get as nuanced as I can without, losing the essence and the heart of what I'm trying to say. In mass communication, you have to be broader in your strokes. This is my belief.
Fair enough.
Which is why I'm taking this approach. We are very careful. I'm very aware of the fact that I do not want to at all hinder the choice of a woman, whether she wants to go in for an abortion or not. Which is why we haven't gone there at all. And nor have I even hinted to the fact that a woman doesn't have a right to a choice. And therefore, our words have been selected very carefully. So it is female feticide. And therefore, the word comes in. And I'm trying to get to the heart of the problem of sex selection and sex abortion. And that is all we are concentrating on. Every statistic that I provide on the show is about the fact that how the the number of girls in comparison to the number of boys is declining.
Yeah.
So obviously the topic is that. And nowhere have I ever used language which would even mistakenly indicate that I'm talking of, curbing the rights of a woman for her choice of, having a baby or not.
These were issues
So
that
we are aware
came
of
up
that.
in your planning for the program.
In our
and before
discussion, we
shooting
discussed about it. We even discussed going down the path of saying what rights women have, and I don't want to deviate from my topic. I don't want people to at all be confused about what the one issue that I'm pinpointing. And in this case, it is selection of the female child and aborting a female child because it happens to be a female child.
Yeah.
And I don't want to shift from that. So similarly, when it is child sexual abuse, we are sticking to that. We are not deviating from that. When it's healthcare, we are sticking to that. We are not deviating from that. And we are also choosing within healthcare because healthcare is a complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm choosing what are the 2 or 3 main themes that I am going to communicate in that short span of 1.5 hours. This is a choice I'm making, and I'm very clear about what my choice is, and I stand by it.
How do you assess what you've done so far?
I assess it based on the reactions they get from people.
Leave the reactions
No, I'm
aside.
coming to the other things also. I also assess it by the kind of reaction I'm getting from administration. I find it very encouraging and positive to see, you know, for example, Mr. Ashok Gehlot respond so quickly and within
Announce that
within 48 hours, within
that
36
it seems the
hours.
Chief Justice of Rajasthan has said that
Yeah.
they will set up a fast-track court.
That's action taken
to
very
deal
fast.
with these female feticide cases.
He could have told me, you know, yeah, we are working on it and we are thinking about it. I would have sent him a couple of more letters beyond which I can't, you know. So I'm saying that he has been proactive and that is very encouraging. If you look at even the newspapers today and the last few weeks that I've been reading, since our first episode of Female Feticide came, there have been, in various states, Maharashtra included, there has been a lot of action by the administration in you know, clamping down on illegal activities.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, so encouraging to see. On a certain level, what we're doing is very journalistic.
Yeah.
But
A lot of
that's-
journalists would say we wish we had started our careers as actors so that we could and become big stars and
No,
so we
but-
could get this audience and support.
Well, no, but I have
You
to
know
say...
that.
Yeah.
Journalists are dying with envy. I'm going to say that. I wish I had this show, Aamir.
No, but I have to say that, you know, my team in the research team and our field team are all journalists, you know. So they are the people who've actually done the work. And let me add that a huge number of journalists who have already done this work.
Yeah.
A lot of our case studies have come from, these are not fresh cases.
Fair enough. This is what has been reported.
This has already been reported. You know, for example, Manoj and Bubbly has been reported, Rizwan has been reported, Harish Iyer has been reported. So these are not fresh cases that we're taking up.
So you owe this show to the journalists.
Certainly, absolutely. Whether it's activists and journalists who've been working in this field for so many years is what has helped us, you know, get material together. And what we've done is we've taken all that material and assessed it ourselves and made sure that we're happy with what we're now going to project. And then we have given it a form which is, you know, as close to storytelling as possible. So we've tried to keep the drama in a topic of how I'm bringing it out to you.
Going forward, how would you like this thing to get sustained? Because obviously, no, I'm not going to say that, okay, Aamir, what will you do about all these issues going forward?
Sure.
You're doing what you can do. How will you start evaluating whether there's change? Where does this go from
Where does it
here?
lead to? Yeah. See, there are three things we are hoping to achieve. What we believe is that information and knowledge will alter the way you act. It'll affect your actions. So if I were to tell you that in the next 2-3 minutes, lightning is going to strike where you're sitting, armed with that information and knowledge, you would move from there. So
I hope.
So yeah, so information and knowledge will change your actions. So we are hoping that information and knowledge about an issue will change the way people act in their lives vis-a-vis that issue. That is one. Two is we are trying to bring about in people an ability to look inward. So while we are questioning, you know, maybe the government or maybe various, you know, people, but we are also encouraging people to look inward and to see whether they feel that am I part of the problem? Would I live life differently henceforth? Am I doing the right thing? So I'm wanting to look inward myself, and I'm encouraging people to look inward because I believe that when each one of us looks inward, the solution lies within us. And if I only concentrate on improving myself, and each one of us does that, that brings about a big change collectively. So this is the second thing that we're hoping. And the third thing we're trying to do is we are trying to place before people solutions. Now, these solutions are not solutions that necessarily me and my team have found, but these are solutions that other people have found, and we are showcasing these solutions.
Show number 5, which is Love a Crime, you know, when you actually had members of A Cup Panchayat and you spoke to those people, did you feel what they were saying and what you were saying, did you feel that bridge, that gap is just too wide to bridge? How did you feel during that conversation?
Well, I did feel that.
Because you were trying to understand them, they were
Yeah.
trying to explain what they felt.
Yeah.
But really, that's a gap, and it's a huge gap.
But I'm saying that is fair enough. We have difference of opinion, and that's fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how do you feel, therefore, about
Change happening vis-a-vis that.
yeah, not in the context of cup. I'm just using that as an
Yeah.
illustration, but every which way.
See, what I feel is that, there will be some people who will feel differently no matter what. But I think that in every issue, there are a whole lot of people who want to understand it better so that they can make up their minds better. For example, now, this issue of, marriages or the choice of a girl and a boy to decide who should be their life partner. I think that, this is, for example, this is one of the topics that I was not so keen on, to be very honest.
Really?
Yeah. I told my team, I said, is this such an important topic? Aren't there other more important topics that we should be doing? And my team disagreed with me. And I was the only guy on the other side. So they said, no. India has got a huge population of young. This is a problem that they are facing more and more. And the youth in India is asserting itself more and more. It wants to choose now.
Yeah.
And therefore, there is a struggle within families. So this is an issue that a lot of families are facing in villages, in small towns and big cities, everywhere. And so we should address this as a topic. And so, I was overruled.
I would pick that as perhaps one of the shows that I thought worked the most effectively. Also perhaps because some of the people whose stories that were shared in that, do you think the gaps are bridgeable?
Well, I think that.
Oh, you're an optimistic guy,
I'm
so
an
I'm
optimistic
guessing you
guy.
would say yes.
I would, no, I'm saying, see, I'll tell you what I'm saying. Let's look at Seema and Chandrapati ji. Manoj's mother and Manoj's sister. These are two women from Haryana, from the Khap belt. A male member of their family has been killed.
And now they're socially ostracized.
They are
besides being
socially
threatened.
ostracized, they are threatened, they are boycotted. They are also from the same social background that all of us are from, which is essentially we come from a very strong, influence of patriarchal thinking.
Yes. That's correct.
Now, here are two women who are living in that area under threat. There has been an attempt on Seema's life. They have been threatened many times. How do they find the courage to do what they're doing? It's fascinating.
You use the word patriarchy. And interestingly, as your shows have progressed, if someone studies it from show 1 to 5 or 6, and I'm sure more eventually, clearly
It's a recurring thought.
it's a recurring thought.
It is. Because what we've discovered in these 2 years is that
Women have a bad deal, isn't it?
women have a bad deal. Women have a bad deal. And what we've discovered is that in a number of topics, when we start digging, we realize the problem lies in this patriarchal thinking of ours. That's where the
because you
that's
make
the
this
root.
point in
That's the root.
Love is a Crime about izzat.
Yeah.
The family's izzat becomes the woman because she is making a choice.
Yeah. When I'm doing
And
wrong,
that's
when
what-
I'm
and that
taking
has to be
commissions and
controlled.
I'm indulging in illegal activities, I'm doing corrupt things. That time my izzat is not at stake.
So were you always
But when
a
my
feminist?
woman, yes, I think I was, and I am. When a woman is deciding who she wants to choose as a life partner, then suddenly my izzat comes out. But I'm saying that from the time that a child is born, first of all, we try and kill a girl child. In the cases that we don't, and the girl is born, we don't feed her properly, we don't give her proper medication, we don't give her proper education. So, forget empowering the girl child. You're specifically disempowering the girl child. What we've come to realize and what I've come to learn is that a number of our issues finally boil down to this
Gender
patriarchal kind of
inequality
inequality
and
and
the
this thinking.
patriarchal approach.
And that is why the song that we had at the end, when at the end of the episode, I really like what Swanand wrote. Babul pyare, sajan sakhare, sun o meri maiya. So the girl is telling her father, the mother and the lover. बोझ नहीं मैं किसी के सर का ना मझधार में नैया पतवार बनूंगी पतवार इज एन ओर पतवार बनूंगी लहरों से लड़ूंगी मुझे क्या बेचेगा रुपया. So I just love that thought.
When did you discover you were a feminist?
Well, I've grown up with really strong women around me. My mother, my sisters, my cousin, my aunt, Rina, my first wife, Kiran, my second wife. And I've never felt, actually for me it was a non-issue.
You know, Aamir, whatever you do, and whatever reactions it gets, at some point it becomes about Aamir's intent and Aamir's credibility. No matter how many times we've met and you've told me I do things spontaneously, I'm not thinking so much, it's not so logical, it's emotional. All the reactions to you somehow often come back to this, what is his intent, okay? Now, one of the things, I would think it's a bit unfair, but one of the criticisms or reactions is if Aamir feels so strongly and if he's made such a big deal of not doing brand endorsements, why doesn't he take that big 3 crore, 4 crore, many figures floating around per episode that you have as a fee for this show and donate it to the NGOs of his choice?
Because I spent it in making the show. There's none of it is left. I spent it in making the show.
Okay, so you're saying that this fee, this mythical, this fee that is said to be yours is a production cost of this show?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, it's not just your fee?
No, it is not.
I think because, a lot of people have written saying, ask him to clarify this.
Let me just clarify 2 things here. First of all, I don't think it's a lot of people. It's a few people because I've also been on various websites to check on what people are saying. So a few people have mentioned this. And in my opinion, I'm working hard and I'm earning my money. So my reaction to this, on the face of it, is it's no one's business what
Fair
I earn.
enough.
I'm earning it. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm earning money. I'm working hard and I'm earning money in a very proper manner. So I don't see how anyone else is concerned with what I'm earning. It's none of their business. Having said that, I want you to know that in fact I am actually losing money by doing this show. In the 2 years that I spent in developing this and working on this, I would have done maybe 2 films. And I charge a fair amount, a healthy amount for doing a film. I would have earned much more. Had I done a game show, it would have taken me maybe a month or month and a half or 2 months to prepare. I would have earned much more. So am I doing it for money? I'm not earning any more money. I mean, as I said to you last time, that I normally earn a fair amount through my endorsements, which I am not doing because of the show specifically. And so therefore, I'm actually losing money on the whole. Even for per episode, what we are, most of the money of the episode is going towards the cost
of producing the episode.
And I'm not even aware how much of it, very, very honestly, I'm not, because I haven't sat in the accounts, because it doesn't concern me the least bit. The set has been standing for months and it is still standing.
And there's a cost involved.
There is a cost involved in that. And so I'm not even aware whether at the end of the day how much money I'm going to lose or not. Certainly the figure will be very close to what the show is costing us. So I don't see us making any money at all. If at all, we may be losing money on the show.
Do you feel that there is still this question about your intent that you have to keep answering every time you do an interview?
Not at all. My intent is very clear, and I'm also very sure that a large majority of people, probably 99% of the people, know exactly why I'm doing the show. It is very evident to people.
If people want it, you personally would like to do a season 2.
I'd be very happy.
You want to stay with Satyam?
I would be very happy to. Yeah. We've had a great experience. It's been a roller coaster ride, and I think that at the end of this, the core creative team and field team, all of us probably need to go in for group counseling or something, therapy, because we've been through like a roller coaster of emotions right through this period.
But you live on hope.
And I live on hope, yeah. I live on hope. All of us do in our team.
The audacity of your hope, as I said, Aamir. Thank you for talking to us. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.